Welcome indeed to the second episode of The Talk. We talk about addictions, we talk about things that are affecting people, and we expose them, and of course, looking forward for solutions to help us. Joining us today is a man who wears very many caps, but today he's going to tell us more. He's the founder of Naked Truth. We shall get to know more. Let's take a look at his profile.
Robert Burale is the founder of Naked Truth, CEO of the RB Company, a motivational speaker, minister of the gospel, an image consultant and director of the upcoming RB Wear, author of the book Stripped, and father of one, Lexi Burale.
Robert Burale, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Asante sana. I don't know where to start because, as I said, you're a man of many caps, indeed, as the profile tells us. But I would start with this, which is an offline. I hope I'm dressed well.
Absolutely. You're always on point. I've never seen you not in place.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Now I'm confident enough to go on. Yeah, talking about sex addictions, you have a story and you have said it out. And of course, with even the programs that you have of Naked Truth, I believe you're one man who's willing to come and help us because we have many guys who are stuck into such kind of things, but they're not talking about it. And you've been there and you even unhooked yourself. As in, how did it all start? Maybe you could give us in a nutshell.
Well, I think I went to boarding school at a very young age. I went to boarding school in class 4. I wouldn't take my daughter to boarding school at such a young age.
So that's a mistake.
That's my opinion. Many might disagree, but class 4 I think is too young.
It's too young.
And I lost my virginity in class 4.
Class 4?
Yes.
Wow.
Under a mango tree in school. And when I was in class 4,
right,
we didn't have things like social media. We didn't have things like Instagram and all these kind of things that the children right now are exposed to. And if you told my mom that in class 4 her son is having some crazy stuff, she would not believe it. It's even worse now that these kids in the now age have social media.
Wow.
So parents would be shocked if they find out what their children are up to. Yeah. So that's how it started, really.
Wow. And speaking about that, next week we shall be hosting the CK to tell us they're doing this particular campaign about Be the Cop, but we shall talk that another time. But now that you've been there and you unhooked yourself, I mean, class 4 is quite an interesting age to look
crazy.
at. So at least we can tell the age when that started.
Yes.
But what influenced it? I mean, for you now to get to these levels where it got to an addiction, what influenced
it?
That?
It first starts with experiment. And I can tell you, 9 out of 10, when you experiment something, you love it.
Any experiment?
Yes, you love it. The moment you say, I want to experiment, in your psyche, you already know you will like it. So even if it's not something very good, but because you prepared yourself to like it, you'll find yourself liking it regardless.
Wow.
So of course, I got excited, and then I went to high school. And
so between class 4 all the way to class 8,
it
was now a normal thing.
It was, really. I mean, I'm in boarding school.
We don't mind if I ask, which year was that? Because, we may think that those years, man.
No, the 80s.
People didn't know much. 80s?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
It was the 80s.
So these things are happening.
Yes. I tell you, Waina, is you have to know this, and parents need to understand their children are doing worse things now.
Worse things.
But the problem with parents is either the lady is too busy in some useless chama.
Yeah.
The man is watching some Premier League football.
Yeah.
Like they know them. So parents have become too busy to monitor what the children are doing. Children have Android phones, they have iPads, so they have access to some crazy stuff.
Whole world, man.
And I, one time, was doing a research, and I went to one of the malls during holidays. And these kids are dressed almost half naked.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Some go into the gents and the ladies and engage themselves in sexual activity there. Because the parents have given them money to go out because the father is hungovered, so he doesn't want noise in the house, and the mother needs to go to a chama. So basically, you've let the world rule your child, and the world is not a very
Just
kind
go.
place. Yes.
Talking about that, by the way, I think parents should also be wary about the house helps they get in the house as well.
Absolutely. 70% of the boys lose their virginity to the house helps. Yeah.
Wow. So when did you get to know that you were in an addiction?
Well, after high school, really. And people need to understand there's a difference between loving sex and being addicted to sex.
Yeah, because sex is good.
Yes. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a gift. But Addiction is when it controls you to a point that when you don't have it, you either get. The funny thing about me, I have never drunk alcohol in my life.
Ah.
I have never.
So you're the good guy. You're
Yes,
the good.
I have never touched alcohol. So when an addiction takes over, people say, "Oh, careless sexual behavior because of alcohol." I've never drunk alcohol in my life, even before Christ met me.
Yeah.
You know, so and so addiction is when you get annoyed when you don't have it, when you're having a fit, when you're short-tempered, and it just, you know, like walking into a hole and you know it's a hole.
Yeah.
You know it's dangerous, but you're walking in there.
We're still going there.
But when you just like it, you can almost say no to it. But you walk into the lion's mouth gladly, and you know it's going to chew you.
Wow.
Yeah, and you just find yourself doing it, and there's no level you say you're satisfied. Yes. Addiction means, well, I once had, when I was in the UK, in the campus, I had a sexual liaison, a whole night with 5 women.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, in campus.
That's what they call an OG.
Yes.
5 women.
Yeah.
But
There's an addiction, I'm the full lawyer man, so it's dangerous even.
what are you trying to say about Louis, man? You know, they're here. But anyway, how, you know, now you're talking about realizing this when you're in high school. I mean, after high school. So how long did it take you to really get out of this hook?
Whew, over 10 years.
10 years.
Absolutely, yes. Because remember, it's now taken a hold of you.
Yeah.
You don't have control over it, it has control over you.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's like you want to go somewhere, it's at night, you put on the switch or
Yeah.
the ignition. You have control. You can switch on your car and off at will.
Yeah.
So that's what the addiction does to you. And you just find yourself going from filth to filth. And then, this is where it gets crazy. The addiction is so deep that the depth in you calls to another person with addiction. You find yourself being attracted to like-minded
people. Like-minded people.
Like just deep calls unto deep.
Yeah.
So you gravitate towards people of the same behavior.
Of the same behavior.
So of course now you gladly go to these crazy places. And
Yeah.
that's also how I started going into strip clubs.
Wow. Talk about strip clubs now. But just before you talk about that, you know, somebody needs to understand this, because some people think that, you know, I'm okay. I mean, I'm just having fun and the rest of the things. Is there a reason for them to be concerned on where they are right now? And should they, you know, sit back and ask themselves whether they're trapped in this?
Absolutely. In fact,
yes.
People who are addicted to sex right now should be more scared, because in this day and age you have diseases.
Yeah. Now, let me ask, was it happening here in this country?
Yes, here and in the UK, but UK more.
Strip clubs, and they're increasing every day.
Yes, there's a strip club in every corner. And strip club addiction took me to debt of 7 million.
I think we need another episode, but wait a minute. 7 million debts?
Yes.
Because you had to pay off, or what is it?
I mean, I once spent 100,000 a night in a strip club in Langata.
Oh, goodness.
And it's borrowed money. That's what the addiction does. When the money is there, yours, you will spend it. When it's not there, the addiction doesn't tell you, since you're broke, I will take a break. No, the addiction gets higher and stronger. So you must look for something to feed the addiction. And even when you're addicted to sex, you want to take the women out for a drink, for a meal.
Yeah.
I'm having my Fanta, they're having their alcoholic drinks. So you must also bring your A game before you bring your bed game.
Yeah,
So
A game before bed game.
Yeah, so it just messes all through. And when you said something, people say, no, I'm not addicted, I just like it.
Yeah.
When you hear someone saying that, that is one of the red flags.
Wow.
A mad person will not tell you he's mad. They'll just tell you, oh, I just love it. But that is not the red, yes.
Good. Does this happen to both sexes?
Absolutely. I am now counseling a woman who in 1 month had sex with 52 men.
What?
52 men.
That's a big number.
Yeah. Now, at some point, she just said, no, I'm not addicted, I just like it. But until she stood and looked at the girl in the mirror and says, I need some help.
Now, talking about red flags, you know, we've been talking about addictions, and even last week we were talking about pornography and, you know, addictions and trying to see how we could get out of this.
Yeah.
Are there particular things, you know, that people are doing thinking they're very innocent that would lead them to this path?
Pornography.
That's number one.
Oh, absolutely. On your phone, and you go to these pornographic sites. And then no one goes to a pornographic site and reads the Bible after that.
That's an interesting one. They can't.
They'll just go
They
to
can't stand
masturbation. It's me and my hand.
Satisfy
Yeah.
themselves.
Then what happens after that? It binds you, and then it tells you, let's go a bit higher.
Yeah.
Just like when you start with cannabis sativa. After some time it says, now try cocaine.
Harder
It's
drugs,
the
harder
same
drugs.
sequence, just different things. So you start with masturbation, and then you will go to sex and masturbation.
Yeah.
And then now you go deep and swim in the waters of sex. And then now you completely go. Because the moment you get into sex, so many other things
Yeah.
come into it.
Oh,
too many things. Lack of self-worth comes into play. You feel that you start feeling empty. You don't become productive. Even though anybody deep in sexual addiction,
Yeah.
even in the workplace,
Yeah.
their productivity goes down by not less than 40%.
So even the employer should be worried when they're
Oh
guys
yes,
are just
I speak to companies. I go to corporates to speak about this because what affects your staff at home will trickle to your office.
To your office, definitely. And
So
productivity
someone
is
in sex
affected.
addiction is someone who is deep in feeling self-worth. They have no worth about themselves. They feel useless. So if you have a useless accountant sitting on his desk, then you have useless results.
So employers should be worried about what they're releasing to these guys in terms of the internet connectivity, and maybe they should control that.
And the problem is now there's too much pressure on performing the
Yeah.
employer.
Yeah.
And employers are not putting some money aside to have someone come and talk to them.
Oh goodness.
Then 3 months down the line, then the productivity, staff productivity starts going low, and you wonder what's going on. And then you sack someone, and then, if only you knew, bring in someone once in a while to speak. I speak to corporates.
Yeah.
And people then come to me on the side and like, you know what, I've been struggling with this. I've
Yeah.
been struggling with this. How can I get out of it?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, when we come back, you should tell us more about these red flags.
Yes.
And how one can really see that, you know what, I'm actually headed in the wrong direction. Welcome back to the talk. We're talking sex addictions. And of course, joining us is Robert Burale, man who talks it as it is. Naked truth. Robert,
Yes, sir.
you know, now talking about immediate and also long-term effects. Let's just start with the immediate effects, you know, that, you know, someone should actually start seeing and say, you know what, I'm actually headed to the wrong direction. What are some of those things that, you know, that can help?
Some of the things that you need to realize if you want to spend too much time on your own.
On your own.
Yes.
Allah.
That is dangerous. A loner is the perfect candidate for an addiction. Masturbation, pornography, and sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you find your child, your teenage child, always wanting to go to the bedroom,
Just to stay alone.
yeah, there's a problem. Parents say, no, my child just likes being quiet. Oh, nonsense. Your child just likes being quiet.
So it's better to have the chubby ones.
Oh yeah, big noisy and big around, you know.
Yeah,
But parents,
check them out.
You know, but the parents are on WhatsApp. They are doing reports for their chama. So it's okay when the kid goes to the room. That's my child, you know.
Talking
boy,
about
go to the
this,
room.
this
Yeah.
social media is just a fallacy. It's not social at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. And if it's not controlled, it's taking us to the dogs.
Oh my
So when you
goodness.
have parents, when you have parents who just don't care and they prefer their children being in the room because they want their peace.
Yeah.
They've had a long day at work. Or I'm tired and I'm watching
is no
some
peace.
Mexican soap and all that.
One should be worried.
Absolutely. And so when the child always wants to be away from the parents, from the siblings, that is one of the greatest flags that you need to
Wow. Just
zero in on.
zero in on.
Yes.
You're right. Now, talking about this addiction, can it happen to married couples?
Yes, I'm dealing with a man who for 20 years was addicted to masturbation and yet is married. Now,
Wait a minute, but what is he
he's
not
having
saying?
now? Masturbation is not the absence of sex.
What is that?
He's come with his wife. After that, he goes to the bathroom and masturbates.
He can get satisfied there?
It's an addiction.
Oh, goodness.
People who die of what do you call it? Afro something, asphyxiation. They masturbate while trying to choke themselves. Some of these people are married.
But my question is this. Are you trying to tell me that even after they have had whatever they're supposed to have with the wife, it's no longer even satisfying?
No, because
They
of
have
the
to go
addiction needs its time as well.
That's a problem.
You with your wife is your time.
Yeah.
You've done your time. Now the addiction says it's my time now.
Oh, goodness,
Yes.
Lord. Now, someone is stuck at home, man. They're saying, you know what, I am there. I don't know whether there's a quick remedy,
Yes.
like an antidote. We can just give them and they stop. Oh,
And if they're watching,
Yes.
there's something they'll connect to what I'm about to say. Someone who's addicted to sex or masturbation, they'll do it.
yes.
Then as soon as they finish, there's one line they always say, I will never do it
again.
3 minutes later, the body's
Yes.
already bubbling.
Oh, no.
I even see it's like the addiction is laughing at you.
That means there's a
really?
sense of guilt.
Yes. And the guilt always comes after you're done.
But before then, you're chasing
Oh,
after
you're
it.
okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But after that, they're like, oh my goodness, I'll never do this again.
I'll never
15
do this
minutes later. And it also has health effects. I mean, a man one guy came from a naked truth, and he would say that he would even get agitated when there's traffic jam. He wants to go home and masturbate. If he's in a matatu. If he's when he bought his car, he would do it in traffic.
What?
I have a situation whereby a gentleman would leave church during church service and go to the bathroom in the toilet in the church, masturbate, and come back to the service. It takes hold over you. But someone who is addicted should not be seen as a filthy person. And that's a problem with society. We look at them as if they have leprosy.
In
Yet
fact,
they need to be brought in.
True that. In fact, getting somebody to come and confess such things, I mean, it's trouble.
It's not happening.
It
And
can't
that's,
happen.
and that's why we have the naked truth. I have had my addiction.
Yeah.
I've come out of it. So if I can come out of it, every other person can come out of it. But you must be willing. I'm not going to come out because Minor told me, yeah, you're my boy, I need you to come out of it. No. I looked at myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I didn't like what I saw on the other side. I saw an absolutely filthy person. You have to do an introspection. You have to be very honest with yourself and say, you know, what I'm seeing, this is... You could be in a Giorgio Armani suit.
So we're talking about exposing this out.
But inside,
Inside
you're like a sewage.
Oh, God.
But until you get to a place and you say, I'm standing with the man in the mirror and I don't like what I'm seeing. So forget about the tie, forget about the cologne. Just say, I'm going to look at myself on the inside.
Inside.
And believe you me, that's when healing starts. Wow. Not because the next door neighbor said. No. But of course, if there's a young child, a young adult, a parent must be firm. Yes, and you must stab them. If you have to take all their phones and their iPads and say no more TV, even parents who get home late, they don't know what their children are watching. Even now we have cartoons that now there's a country, and I don't want to mention the country, that the law has been passed that now every cartoon series must have a gay character, for example. What are you trying to do? You are trying to bring in something at the level of the child.
Yeah. And by this, speaking about that, you know, have you looked on the WhatsApp, you know, emojis? Eh?
Yes.
There's a man holding hands.
Yes.
Stuff. Is that what they're trying to tell us?
Of course. I mean, you see, it's getting to the psyche of the child.
Yeah.
If you have a cartoon character, two
men.
cartoon characters having sex, you're already planting it in a child's mind at the age of 7. When the child, nowadays in this country, a 13-year-old is a veteran in sex.
Oh, goodness, Lord.
In this country.
You know, talking about that, you know, we have had incidences in the news time and time again where, you know, teenagers have been caught up in these things. In Eldoret, some time back, you know, 500 in a club, strip club. I don't know what they were doing there, you know. I mean, but were caught condoms taken out and many other paraphernalia. What do we do? How do we build this? What do we make out of this?
It's absolute careless parenting. Someone says, I mean, let's not also blame the teachers too much. You cannot take a juvenile to school and expect a missionary back home.
I love that. You can't expect that.
No. So discipline your children as well.
At home?
Yeah.
So have we killed this because, you know, there are all these rights?
Parents too busy. Then you're taking the children who are absolutely messed up and taking them to the teachers and expect them to bring back missionaries. Well, you have 2 children. You can handle them yourself.
Yeah.
But the teacher in a class has 50 children. One person.
But someone will say, you know, teachers spend, 80% of the time when these guys are growing with the kids, so they should be the ones to blame more.
No, but the values are put by the parents.
Oh, yeah.
Values. Teachers don't just fun
Yeah.
what they've been put at home. But if the child does not have love, if the child sees the father coming at 6 in the morning drunk and the mother crying all night, and then you expect the teacher to instill what? It's absolutely. You cannot give out poison and expect honey back. It just can't happen.
You're right.
So it's easier to blame the teachers.
Yeah.
It's much easier to blame the teachers. But I know for a fact, and I said this without batting an eyelid, it's failed parenthood.
Failed parents.
Too busy.
Oh, God.
I'm dealing with a gentleman, and I think it was in the press some time back, who the women, married women, have a chama in the one of the upmarket areas. And this guy and 4 of his friends, every time there's this chama, these women call them to service them sexually. So the husbands drop them for the chama.
Just
And
chama.
then, yes.
Thinking that this is just
yes. So the husband drops and their cookies, their sweets, and there's tea, and then the files and any other business. And then when the husbands leave, they've dropped their wives. These 4 gentlemen come in. And they go with these women to various rooms, have sex until 5:30. Then the women go back to their cookies and groundnuts. These guys go home. Their husbands come to pick them. So it's all a messed up thing. God. Now, as a woman, if you're doing that, and
that's
as a man,
happening
if you're
here.
doing that, yes,
That's happening here.
I'm getting someone out of it.
Oh, God.
Through the Naked Truth program. Now, when a parent is doing this, you don't have the moral ground to tell your child, stop it.
You know, I teach in one of the classes. I won't mention the school. You know, I was asking kids there, how many of you come from, you know, homes where there's a dad and mom? None of them put up their hands.
Exactly.
In fact, one said, my mom is a cougar.
You see?
I said, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know the term. I had to go and ask, what is this? Later on is when I said, what is this?
It's totally messed up. So parents have also lost the moral high ground to tell their children, stop this. You can't even have a conviction to discipline your child, yet you know you're from a chama, and you've just done the same thing with a young boy.
Now, someone says I was abused. I didn't put myself into this. What do you say to such a person?
It's also a failed state. The family is what is the right or the wrong foundation of the state. When you see the state going to the dogs, it's the state of the family.
State of the family.
Yes, and even being abused, when you get deeper into this, people are abused by people known to them. An uncle, a stepbrother.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Very close.
Now, when someone has been abused, when you keep quiet, then it starts getting root in you. Then out of that, you can indulge so much into sexual behavior, thinking it will numb the pain. Or someone abused me sexually. Now I want to give it to any man out there or any woman out there out of love to dilute the pain of being abused.
Is this thing spiritual?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So someone needs to get some spiritual intervention.
One of the biggest American gospel artists, I think Donnie McClurkin,
yes, Donnie,
was abused by his uncle.
Oh yeah, he speaks about it.
Then after that, when the uncle would not do it, he would feel bad. So he wanted it. It's a spiritual, it takes root. So also people need prayer. But the problem with the church, we are concentrating too much on asking for money.
Finances, everybody's talking about
receive your car, receive your suit. What nonsense.
Sow the seed.
Yes. But we're not discussing very serious issues that are affecting. I want to go to a church. Not very many churches are going and discussing sex and masturbation.
I mean, the last time I saw somebody speak to them, we're not talking about sex.
Come to Naked Truth. We unmask sex like nobody's business.
Thank God for what you're doing.
Oh yeah, we do it. We tell people, oh, this is not the Naked Truth. TV might just go blank if I say some of these things.
Yeah. We might say them here.
Yes.
Soon enough, I shall be calling you for that.
That is fine.
But make a date with him. I guess, where can they find you? Facebook, something?
Facebook is Israel Robert Burale. And Twitter is Burale1.
My goodness. Find that out and we'll go and confess. Yes. Get out of these things.
Yes.
Expose
Naked truth
them.
is we people come and we speak things. We get naked with the truth. That Naked Truth.
You know, Robert, I can't just end this without asking you to help this guy who's watching and say, you know what? Maybe he's alone as well. He's just watching this closed doors. What do you have to tell him?
It does not matter the things you have gone through. Believe in yourself. Get back your self-worth. You don't need to masturbate. You don't need to have careless sex. Wait until the right time. But it starts with you feeling the right things about yourself, you have it. You have don't have a chicken mentality. You're built within yourself to operate like an ego. So your pains of the past, your insecurities, your inadequacies are nothing. It doesn't matter where you are from, it matters where you're going, and it's all in your mind and in your spirit. Yeah.
You had it yourself. It's all in your mind and your spirit. So you can get free out of this.
Absolutely. And
like you did.
don't die alone.
Don't
Speak
die
to
alone.
someone. Speak to someone.
I love that. Don't die alone.
Yeah, speak to someone.
Robert Burale.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much for
Thank you
having
for
us,
having me.
You know, and we shall have these talks. We need to help everybody.
Yes. By God's grace, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us on the talk. Of course, you know you have gotten your bit. Take home. Don't die alone. Cheers. We'll see each other next week. Same time, same place, as we discuss more naked truths.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you, sir.